Hello friends, today in this tutorial we will be building a Firestore CRUD kind of application using Bootstrap 4. So in the last video I have just shown you in the middle of the process the light was gone, so that is why the stream was not over. So you will see this is the application that we will be building here. Let me show you. So basically there will be a simple form out there, and it will have a title field and a description field. And basically if you add a title and a description, click on the save button, it will add this on the screen. So with the title and the description, and the two buttons will be there either to delete this or edit this. So we are storing all this information inside our Firestore database. So this is the Firebase product, so real-time database. So it has created this field out there. You will see that it has having the title and the description. So now we can add one more field out there similar to this. Click on save. Now you will see there will be two fields out there. This is the two fields out there, and if I want to delete, I can simply delete this, and if I refresh it, it will stay it because we have successfully deleted it in the back end also. You can just see here we have successfully deleted. And basically if I want to once again add this, and if I want to update a value, I can simply click the edit option. So this will give me the title and the description, and now I can change it, the title and the description. Click on update. So you will see that title and description have been updated successfully. So this is kind of a correct kind of a application where you can create record, you can read the record. If you load the page, all the records will be displayed from the database. You can update the record, individual record like this, and also you can delete this by clicking the delete button. So we will be looking at this application from scratch, guys. So using Firestore database inside your Firebase data dashboard. So first of all, you need to be having a Google account for this, and you need to be having Firestore installed, and basically you need to be having valid Google account for using Firebase services. So let's start building this application. I have given all the source code in the video description. So this is the blog post I have written. Let me show you. This is all the source code that you will need in order to build this application. So let's start building this application from scratch. So let me delete all this source code. So you will just need a index.html file. Just create an index.html file in your favorite text editor. I'm using Visual Studio Code text editor. So right here, just change the title of Firestore CRUD app in JavaScript. So for building this, guys, we are using a Bootstrap theme, which is called as Bootswatch. So if you just type on Google, this is the theme out there. We are using it, bootswatch.com. So basically it uses Bootstrap in background. So all these cool little themes are there. So basically the theme that I am using here, you can go to the video description link and you can copy this style tag, and just after the title you can paste it, and basically these is attached to it. So now if I want to change the background color, I can just add here dark BG, and it stands for dark background. If you open this now, this has changed the background color to this dark color. So I think it is BG dark, not, this needs to be BG dash dark. So now if you refresh it, it has changed the background color. You can see that to dark brown. And after this, guys, what you need to do is that we need to write our basic template. So we will use the container class of Bootstrap, and we will give a padding to it. And then we will have the row class and call MD6. This is for the placement purposes. So then we will have the card class. Inside this, we will have the card body class. And inside this, we will have a H4 heading. Sorry, H1 heading, which will have the class of H4. And here we will simply write here add task. So now if you refresh it, you will see there will be add task added here. So now we simply need an input field out there. So we will have a simple form. So we will attach a ID to it, task form. So we can target in JavaScript. So after this, we will have a label for the title field. So title, and here we will give it a input, and we will give the class to it of form control, and we will give it a ID of task dash title, and the placeholder will be task title. So form control, and we will give it a margin from the bottom position MB-3. So now if you refresh it, one input field will be added here. You will see task title. So again, we can refresh it one more time, copy and paste it. This will be for description, and this time we will use text area instead of the input field. So for text area, we need to add a additional property of rows, which will be 3, and this will be task description ID, and here you will say task description. So if you refresh it, you will be have your description here, which is task description. And when you load the page, you need to autofocus the title field. For doing this, you will attach a simple attribute which will be autofocus to the title field here. So now if you reload the page, it will automatically focus the title field. So after this, we will have a simple button which will add the entry. So we will say that add. This will be a simple button which will actually add the task to the database. So the label will be save, and we will give it an ID of first of all, we will give it a btn primary. So this will change the background color of the button to blue. After this, we will give it an ID of you can give this btn task form. That's it. So after this, guys, we just need to 1 2 3. After this, we will have to write another div which will hold all the tasks which are displayed. So once again, this will have call md6. So this will be displayed on the right hand side. This will be currently empty. We will give it an ID of task container, task dash container. That's it. Now we need to write the JavaScript, guys. So this will be simply script source dot index.js, and the type parameter is very much important. This will be a module, so we can use the import statements inside this module. So this is very much necessary. And now we need to create this script.js file, which is, sorry, this is index.js. So just create this, and right here inside this file, guys, we will get the references to all the elements which are there on the form, as the form and the button. So we can declare, which is, first of all, we can declare the variable which is task form document.get element by id, and we have given the id to it, and then we will get the reference to the task container where all the tasks will be displayed. We have given an id to it of task container. So after this, guys, we just need to create a fresh file which will be firebase.js. Inside this, we will uh, deploy your project here. So first of all, just go to the project settings wherever you're developing it, and you need to click on add app. So just select your web application in the third option and give your application a name here. So simply you can give any name. Let's suppose test CRUD app. click on register app. So now this will give you some code that you need to copy paste. This will be some JavaScript code here, code. This will be very important information related to your project. So in production mode, you need not have to, you need to store it in a very secure manner. So I will just paste this information. So this is API key. All this information is very secure. So this will be different for you. So don't copy mine. And right here, we need to, if you go to my video description link, I have provided this link here. This will be a CDN link. This will be the actual Firebase library. So simply paste it. And also, these are all the methods you see here related to the, if you see here, these are all the methods if I want to paste it. So these are all the methods which is related to the database section. You will see that the version number is same, 9.6.2. So this needs to be same. This can't be different. So this is the Firestore database library. We are including it. And inside this library, these are all the methods which lets you delete a document, add a document, get all the documents in a collection, or this is collection method. So this is get Firestore. So these are all the methods related to the Firebase real-time database. So after doing this, guys, we can simply now uh, include this file inside our index.js. So we can simply, we need to create some methods out there first of all. So if you see here, when we submit this form, we will add an event listener. So when the form submit, so when we click this, so you will see when we click the submit button, which is this button, automatically what we need to happen, we need to add a record to the database. So this function needs to be async, guys. So just add a async keyword here. And right here, we will make a function here, which will be simply add a entry here. First of all, we will prevent the auto submission of the form by invoking e.prevent_default. And then we will say that we will get the title and the description which the user has entered by simply like this, let title and the task form. And this is the ID attribute that we have given to the form. You will see the title. If you see the ID here, which is task title. So basically we will write this task dash title dot value. So this will get the title to us and the description, task form, task description dot value. And now we need to call if method which will save the details to database. So for now doing this, we will call a custom method. We will use the await keyword, save task, and here we will pass the title and the description. So now we need to create this method here, and we need to wrap this inside try catch block so that if any sort of error take place, we can try catch block. So if any sort of error take place, we can console log it. So that's it. So now we need to create this method, guys, which will be actually save task. Now inside this firebase.js, so if you now go to it, if you see here, this is a method. In order to export a method, you will write the export keyword. So we will simply say that export const save task. We will get the title and the description. Title, comma description. So this will be a method here, save task. So now we will use this method, guys, which will be add document, which will actually add a new collection to the database, add document. So we will have the collection here. And now first of all, we need to get the reference to the database, Firestore database. We can do this by simply writing const db. So this is very easy. There is a method out there which lets you get the reference, which is uh, export. We need to export all this. So export const db, and there is a method which is get firestore. So this method we are importing it. You will see that get firestore. It gets you the reference of the database. So we will add a collection to it. Inside this database, we will pass it, and you can give the collection name something like to do. I will make it as to do as collection name. I can make s here to do's like this and put a comma, and then we can insert the values inside curly brackets title comma description. So this is the actual method, guys. So now we need to include this method. So we will simply say that import save task from firebase.js file. That's it. So we are including this method here. So now we can simply check inside the browser that if it is working or not. So if I give a title to it and description, click on save. And now if you check the database here, if I check the database, Firestore database, so now basically you will see it has created this to-dos array here, and it has got the description and the title. So I can add one more to-do here like this. Click on save once again. So now it has added the second to-do here. You will see that second task. So now we are successfully adding the data inside the database. So now we simply need to reset the form values before after you submit the form. So this will be very simple. There will be a simple code out there which lets you do this. So once you submit the form, you will simply say that after this you need to clear out the field. So we will say task form dot reset. So we will reset the form, reset. So this will reset the form. All the fields will be empty. So after this, and again we need to title dot focus. We need to focus on the title field. So now if I refresh the application, and once again if I need to add the title here, description, click on save, you will now see once again the form is empty. The fields were cleared out. The data has been saved successfully. So this is exactly what we wanted. So you can see that. So I think the focus is not working. If I see here, if I write the title and description, click on save. So the focus is not working because I think I need to declare it in the parent here. So what can I do is that I can simply say let title task form dot task title and description task form dot task description. So it can be accessible in all the functions. So here we can simply say title dot value and description dot value. So now if you refresh it, hopefully this will work now. If I give the title and the description, and now automatically it has focus on the title field. So now this is exactly what we wanted. Now we need to display this on the right hand side, guys. All the fields that are inserted here in the database, you will see all this description. We need to display it. So there is a simple event here which comes here when you load the page. Load the page, we need to display all the to-dos or task. So there is a event here which will be called as window dot add event listener, and this is called as DOM content loaded. This is the event here which will automatically trigger when you load the page for the very first time. So again, make this function as async. So DOM content loaded, and right here we will want to again declare a method, guys, which will be inside the Firebase.js. So this is the business logic of the application. Here we need to declare another method which will be returning all the to-dos or task present in database. So this will be export const, and this the method name is very simple, which will be called as, if I see here, on get task. On get task, this will be the method. You can give any name of your choice, and we will pass a callback function to it. When all the data is returned, we will call this callback function. So here we will use the on snapshot method, guys, which is present inside the Firestore database. You will see on snapshot. It will take the snapshot of all the things which are present, and then it will return it. It will return the whole collection, pass the database, and here you need to give the name of the collection, which in this case is to-dos. And now we need to return this collection here. Simply we will return this to a callback which is passed. That's it. This is all you need to write here. Now we can call this function inside our index.js. So right here, when we load the page here, you will see that, let me see, we will call this function on get task. So automatically this will be imported from this firebase.js file. So inside this, we will get our, you can call this as anything, query snapshot. So this will be an object, and here we need to display it inside this task container window. Inside this div here, we need to display it. So we will simply say that task container dot inner HTML. First of all, we will initialize it to nothing, and then we will simply say that query snapshot. This will be an array, so we will use the for each loop. So we can use the for each loop here. Array will be simply here task, sorry, query snapshot. So for each document inside present inside this array, you can call this as record also. So for each record, we need to get the data. So for getting the data, we need to simply write this line, which is const task doc dot data. So this will return the actual data, which is the title and description. So we can simply say that task dot container dot inner HTML plus is equal to, this will append this. So we can write template string multiple line of code here. So right here we can simply have a div which will be having a class of this. These are Bootstrap classes, which is card body, margin from the top position empty2, and we will give a border primary. So this will be a blue border. So close the div. So inside this we will print out our title, which will be printed out inside h3 tag. So close it. So we will print it dynamically like this. You can see here this is template string task dot title, and we will give it a bootstrap class of h5 heading. And for the description, it is very simple. We will have a simple paragraph to task dot description. So now basically, if you just see here, automatically when we load the page here, it is performing the read operations and it is displaying all the title and the description here. You will see this title and the description. Now we need to have some buttons out there which will actually delete and edit. So right here after this p tag, we will have another div. So this will be for the button here. So this button will be performing the delete operation. So you can just give a class to it of btn dash primary and btn dash delete. So this will be simply label will be delete, and you will also be providing a special attribute which will be data.id. This will be unique for every button which is added here, data.id. So this will be the actual ID of the button. So we will simply say doc.id. So now you will see there will be a delete button also there for every task. And after this, guys, similarly, if I copy this one more time, this will be for the edit button. So this will be doc.id once again. I will change this for edit. So btn edit like this. So there will be two buttons out there, delete and edit. So you can see that. Now if I click this, it will not work. Now we need to add the functionality to these buttons. So just right here after this, when we add this, we will add the functionality to the buttons of delete and edit. So this is present inside a for each loop. You can see we are still inside this for each loop. So here we will simply say const button delete, buttons delete, and here we will simply say that task container dot query selector all. This is a selector in order to select all buttons related to a class called as btn-delete. So we have given this class where you will see button.delete. So we are targeting it. So this will return all the buttons which have this class. So after this, this will be an array. Once again, we will use the for each loop. So this will be buttons delete. For each button, we will add a event listener. So we can say that just make it as button. So button dot add event listener. So for each event button, we will add a click event listener. So when we click the button, so this will again a async function. So here, right here, guys, we need to delete that task related to that button. So we can simply now say that we again need to surround this try catch block. So inside this, guys, we need to write a simple line of code which will be await. We will create a method out there. First of all, firebase.js once again for the delete method. So if you see, it is very simple. We will say export const delete task. So right here in the delete task, we will have the ID. So inside this, we will call the delete document method. So we are importing this method right here. You will see that delete document. So we need to delete this document from the collection which is present inside. So we need to delete a single document. So we will use the document method we are importing here. You will see which has a ID. So we will pass the ID which has this ID here. db dot, and this is a collection name which is to do's. We will pass the actual ID, that's it. So this will actually delete the item here from the list. So now we need to use this method here simply inside this method here. So right here we will use it inside this. So we will use await keyword. So we will say delete task. So this will automatically get imported from this file here, delete task. So here we need to pass the ID, guys. We can pass the ID of the button which is clicked. It is very simple. Uh, the selector is simply e.target dot dataset dot id. So basically it will capture the ID of the clicked button using e.target dataset dot id. So we have provided unique ID to each button. You will see that data.id. So now if I run this project, if I click the delete button, you will see it will get deleted. So now you will see the delete button is also now working here. If I click delete button, if I add the things right here, click delete. So now the only operation which is remaining is the edit button. So if I click the edit button, I need to update the things out there. So for doing this, I will repeat the same process which I did for the button delete button. We will once again create inside this loop buttons edit, and right here task container dot query selector all, and here we will pass the class which is btn edit. This is a class we will pass here, btn dash edit. So this will be again will be a array, so for each. So this will be btns dot edit for each button. What we need to do is that we again need to capture the ID. So first of all, we will add the event listener when we click this button. What needs to happen? This will again be a async function. So async e. So right here, we again need to surround this code inside try catch block. So right here inside this try block, guys, we need to first of all get the task. So right here inside firebase.js, we will now write a method which will be actually be getting a task for us, which is selected. So in order to get a single task or to do, we will write this method inside this file. So just wait. Yeah, this method which is export const get task. So this will uh, return a single to do here. We will pass the ID to it. So this will return the information. So we will use the get document, get doc. So this is a method which we have imported, get document, get document, and right here inside this, we will get the document from the doc, from the database, and the collection name will be to-dos, and we will pass the ID. So this will return the information about a single to-do and or task. So we will use this method here inside our right here. So here we will store this information inside doc. We will use the await keyword and get task. So this will automatically get imported, this method get task. So now here we need to pass the ID. It expects the ID. So once again we will use the same syntax e.target.dataset.id. So this will pass the ID of the selected button. So after getting this information, guys, we can simply get the title and description by simply saying doc.data, and basically we can show the edit form to the user where they can make the update operations. So we can simply say task form dot title. This will be equal to the task dot title which is present inside the database. Same goes for the description field, task dot description. So after this we will I have declared a variable right here at the top which is called as I think we haven't declared this. Let me declare this. This will be the variable called as edit status. So this will be currently be false when we load the page. Now we will make this value as true. So edit status, this will be true because we are, sorry, here, not here, inside here. So edit status will be true. And after this, we will simply say that we will get the ID. We also need to declare a ID variable, which will be empty by default. So ID will be actual ID of the this task or to do. We will store this here, and then we will simply say task form, and inside this we will say button. We will change the label of the button task form, and in order to change the label we will use the inner text property, inner text. So this I will change to update. That's it. So now if you refresh the page here, if you click any of the entries, if you let me add the entry here. So if you click edit, so this will be having the pre-field. Let me see if it is working or not. So it is saying that cannot read properties of undefined reading data. Await get task. Let me see guys if let me put a alert statement here. btn edit class, I think we have given to it. So now this alert statement is printing out. So we know that this function is running, but if I print out the ID, alert task dot title, task dot description, and alert ID, cannot read properties of undefined reading data. I think here we are making a problem here. So let me see. So this is a method out there which is buttons edit. So we are passing the database and the actual name of the to-do. Let me go to the video description link, guys. I have written a complete blog post. Let me paste this. Let me paste this method. So this is the method here which is doing this all this stuff. So which is get task, get document. So we are including this get task here. You will see that I think I am making some mistake in writing. So I can paste this, which is this. Let me paste it once again. To me paste it. Just wait. Const button headed. So let me run this once again, guys. So I think there was some typing mistake out there. That is why it was not working. Oh, I think some mistake is there. Let me see. We need to copy paste it this edit field. Let me copy it. So paste it here. So now no error is there. Let me see here. Let me click the edit button. So once again it is saying cannot read properties of undefined reading title index.js64. So here comes the problem here, which is I think this operation is having some problem, so I will copy paste all the source code which is given, guys. So just paste this whole source code which is there inside video description. I have written all the source code. Let me paste it. And here you just need to add a simple method for the update process. So last method which was remaining. So this will be the actual update process. So simply add this for the updation. So this will take the ID and the new fields. So it will actually use the update method. So just replace the collection name which is to do's like this. So that's it. So now if I refresh it, hopefully this application will now work. So in this way, guys, you can build this application. So thanks very much for watching this video.